Welcome to IQ Checker YouTube channel, home of science quizzes and IQ tests. This content is created with detailed analysis and important tips in preparation for this year's lower secondary checkpoint science paper 1. Let's get started. Question 1a. The diagram shows the human excretory renal system. 1a1. Name the organ labeled A. The description of the diagram says excretory system. The excretory system is made up of organs such as skin, liver, large intestine, lungs, and kidneys, which are responsible for the removal of waste products from the body. Take a closer look at the part labeled A. It is a bean-shaped organ like a bean seed. The only organ that exhibits this shape is the kidney. Hence, the part labeled A is kidney and usually in pairs. To expand your understanding, let's consider the other parts of this excretory system. There is ureter, which passes urine from the kidneys to the bladder. There is bladder for temporary storage of urine, and urethra, which allows urine from the bladder to pass outside the body. Question 1a2. Name the waste product that organ A removes from the body. Kidney removes urea, uric acid, and ammonia. Urea is the most significant waste from kidney, while the other excretory organs like the lungs remove carbon dioxide that is produced by the cells during respiration, and the skin through sweat removes salt in form of sodium chloride, water, and traces of urea. Question 1b. Scientists use models to explain how things work. The diagram shows apparatus and materials used to model the excretory system. The rice grains, lentils, and sugar are added to a beaker of water instead. The mixture is poured through the sieve. 1b1. Draw a line from each material or piece of apparatus to the part of the human excretory system it represents. Draw only 4 lines. We've learned that kidneys filter the blood. Large molecules like blood cells and large proteins cannot pass through the membrane of kidney, while other molecules like sugar, glucose, urea, ammonia can pass through. Now back to the experiment and diagram. Rice grains, lentils, and sugar are added to a beaker of water. Sugar will dissolve because it's soluble. Lentils, which are edible legumes, and rice grains will not dissolve, and due to their size will not pass through the sieve. So lentils and rice grains represent the blood cells. The blood enters the kidney, but blood cells don't pass through. The sieve represents the kidneys, which filters the blood. And finally, the sugar representing soluble waste that needs to be excreted. Question 1b2. Describe how this model shows the function of the human excretory system. We've discussed them already, but as a summary: 1. The kidney separates waste or urea from blood, just as the sieve separates the sugar from the rice and lentils. Number 2. This model acts as a filter. Number 3. Large particles do not pass through. For example, the blood cells, the rice, or the lentils, just as blood cells don't pass through the kidney. Number 4. Small particles do pass through, e.g. urea, just as sugar in the model experiment. So any 2 of these responses will give you your 2 marks. Question 2. Look at the diagram showing part of the periodic table of elements. A. Use this periodic table to write the electronic structure of aluminium. When you have a periodic table question, the first thing to do is to number the elements according to the atomic number. From the numbering, aluminium is number 13. So electronic configuration is the summary of where the electrons can be found around the nucleus. They are in shells, first shell, second, third, and so on. First shell or orbital's maximum of 2 electrons. The second and third shell each has 8 electrons max, and the fourth shell can take up to 32 electrons. The question says write, so you don't draw. Now, to write the electronic configuration for aluminium with atomic number 13 will be first shell 2, showing that it is fully filled. Second shell 8, also fully filled. 2 plus 8 is equal to 10, but aluminium is 13, so the third shell will now have 3 electrons. Hence, the electronic configuration of aluminium is 283. Question 2b. How many protons are in an atom of fluorine? From the numbered periodic table, the atomic number of fluorine is 9. Since the atomic number is the number of protons in an atom, hence the number of protons in fluorine atom is 9. Question 2c. A sodium atom forms a sodium ion. Describe in terms of electrons how a sodium ion is made from a sodium atom. The first thing to understand is how ions are formed. Ions are formed when an atom loses electron to become positively charged cation or gains electron to become negatively charged anion. Back to our question, sodium atoms forms a positively charged sodium ion. Positive ions are formed by losing electron. Hence, sodium atom loses an electron to form sodium ion. Question 3. Look at the symbols used in electrical circuits. 3a. Which symbol shows an ammeter? Choose from A, B, C, or D. Before we answer these questions, let's identify and name the electrical symbols from symbol D. D is buzzer. Buzzer is an output device that gives a beep sound in the presence of electrical signal. C is a variable resistor, a resistor of which the electric resistance value can be adjusted. B is a cell. The cell converts stored chemical energy into electrical energy, allowing positive charges to flow from the positive terminal to the negative terminal in an electric circuit. Then we now have A is ammeter. An ammeter is a device used to measure electric current in amperes or simply amps. Hence, A is the symbol for ammeter. Question 3b. What is the name of the component shown by symbol C? From the symbols we already identified and named, symbol C is variable resistor. Question 3c. Mia wants to measure the voltage across a lamp. Complete the circuit diagram to show how Mia connects a voltmeter to measure the voltage across the lamp. The symbol for a voltmeter is shown as this symbol. Now, to make it easier for us, let's quickly name the components in the circuit. We have the power source as well as key or switch, and finally the lamp. Since Mia connects a voltmeter to measure the voltage across the lamp, now that we know the position of the lamp, all you need to do is to draw the voltmeter and connect it over the lamp like this. Question 4. Plants need magnesium and nitrate for healthy growth. 4a1. What substance do plants make using magnesium? Magnesium is an essential nutrient used by plants in formation of chlorophyll. Magnesium is used for the formation of chlorophyll. Question 4a2. What type of substance do plants make using nitrates? Nitrates are required by plants in production of protein or amino acids. Nitrates are used for the production of proteins or amino acids. Question 4b. The diagram shows plant A and plant B. Plant A has green leaves and plant B has green and yellow leaves. The plants are both the same size and belong to the same species. Question 4b1. Both plants receive the same amount of light and water. After 1 week, plant A is bigger than plant B. Explain why. From the information we have, plant A has green leaves and plant B has green and yellow leaves. So plant A with only green leaves shows that plant A has more chlorophyll to trap more sunlight and therefore carry out more photosynthesis to produce more food than plant B. So yellow leaves in plant B lack chlorophyll. Question 4b2. Plants remove carbon dioxide from the air and replace it with another gas. What is the name of this gas? During photosynthesis, plants take carbon dioxide from the air to make their own food and release oxygen to replace carbon dioxide in the air. So, oxygen is produced by plants during photosynthesis. Question 4c. A farmer grows cabbage plants in his field. There are spaces between each cabbage plant. Suggest one reason why it is important to have spaces between each cabbage plant. It is important to have spaces between each cabbage plant mainly to reduce competition for light, water, or minerals. So aside these, other importance of spacing in plants include to reduce overcrowding, to prevent spread of disease or pests, to have more space to grow. All these are correct. Question 5. Look at the table. It shows information about some properties of the group 1 elements. A. Describe the trend in boiling point as you go down group 1. Now let's observe the boiling point column highlighted with red box. You will notice that the boiling points decrease from 1342 to 883, from 883 to 759, then to 688. Hence, the boiling point of group 1 element decreases or goes down or reduces down the group. All these terms are acceptable. Question 5b. Which property does not show a clear trend? For us to answer this question perfectly, let's analyze each column and come to a conclusion. Starting from melting point, it decreased from 180 to 98 to 63. So melting point has decreasing melting point. We've done boiling point. Next property is density. Density increased from 0.53 to 0.97. The density now decreased to 0.89 and then increased again to 1.53. Hence, density does not show a clear trend. Final property is atomic radius. You can observe that atomic radius increases from 145 to 180 to 220 to 235. So atomic radius exhibits an increasing trend. So the only property with no clear trend is density. Question 5c. Predict the melting point of rubidium. The melting point of rubidium is dash. Check the melting point column again. We've established a trend that the melting point is decreasing. So the melting point of rubidium is any value between 20 and 50 degrees Celsius, a number below 63 degrees Celsius. So for this video, I chose 45 degrees Celsius. Question 5d. Describe the change in reactivity of elements as you go down group 1. One thing you should know is that as you move down the group of a periodic table, the atomic radius increases, as you can see in the column marked sky blue. The tendency to release the outermost electron also increases. Therefore, the reactivity increases down the group. Question 6. A drawing shows the positions of Africa and South America on the Earth. 6a. Scientists think that these two continents are on separate tectonic plates. What is a tectonic plate? You know that a tectonic plate is a piece of the Earth's crust or lithosphere floating on the mantle and can move around slowly. They are landforms created as a result of Earth's movement. Question 6b. Scientists also think that South America and Africa were once joined together many millions of years ago. The diagram shows present-day South America and Africa drawn next to each other. Use the diagram to explain why scientists think that the two continents were once joined. The emphasis here is why scientists think that the two continents were once joined. So take a good look at the picture. The maps of South America and Africa, you will notice that 1. The two continents have complementary shapes. 2. They can fit together almost exactly. These are the reasons why we can deduce to support the claim that the two continents were once joined. Kindly know that if you write they have the same or similar shapes, is not acceptable. Question 6c. Look at the table. Which two kinds of evidence are most useful to show that South America and Africa were once joined? Tick only 2 boxes. If you look at the table, there are 5 options provided. The 2 best evidences are 1. Comparing their rocks. Similar rocks on the shores of different continents will suggest that the two continents were once joined. 2. Comparing their fossil records. Very similar types of fossils of plants and animals will be found in the two continents. Question 6d. Write down one event that happens when two tectonic plates meet. Several events happen where two tectonic plates meet. These include earthquake, volcano, tsunami. Others are mountain building and mid-ocean ridges. So many events happen when two tectonic plates meet. Question 6e. Plessy uses a model to explain how tectonic plates move apart. Look at the diagram of Plessy's model. Complete these sentences about Plessy's model. The first sentence is the tectonic plates are represented by the dash. So we've already established that tectonic plates are moving earth crust and floating. So from the diagram, the plastic blocks floating in water and moving apart represent the tectonic plates. Now the next question is, the water represents dash. So the water represents the molten magma or mantle. Now the next question is, the water moves in a cycle in a process called dash. So this process is called convection. Convection is the transfer of heat from one place to another due to the movement of fluid. Now the next question is, the Bunsen burner represents the heat source from the dash. So the heat source is the core. The core serves as a major energy source for the planet Earth. Question 7. The diagram shows a white hot spark. Complete the sentences about a white hot spark. Choose from the list. A white hot spark is at a very high dash. Remember that you have to choose from the list of words provided. The only word that can qualify hot and high is temperature. So temperature represents the hot and high. So question now continues to say it does not contain much dash. So this will be heat energy. So it does not contain much heat energy. Now putting temperature and heat energy into the question, we can now say that a white hot spark is at a very high temperature, it does not contain much heat energy because it does not contain many dash. So the answer to this is particle. Question 8. Aiko is making some magnesium chloride. She reacts magnesium with dilute hydrochloric acid. Step 1. Magnesium and dilute hydrochloric acid are reacted together until no more magnesium reacts. Step 2. The reaction mixture is separated to give magnesium chloride solution. And in step 3, magnesium chloride solution is heated. Question 8a. A gas is made during this reaction. What is the name of this gas? So going back to Aiko's experiment, she reacted magnesium, which is a metal, with hydrochloric acid, which is an acid. When metals react with acids, salt is formed and hydrogen gas is given off. Hence, the gas formed is hydrogen gas. Question 8b. Step 2 separates the magnesium chloride solution from unreacted magnesium metal. What is the name of this process? This method of separation is called filtration. Filtration is the process in which solid particles in a liquid are removed by the use of a filter paper that permits the fluid to pass through but retains the solid particles. We can now label the diagram. The solution in the beaker contains a mixture of solid and liquid. There is the funnel. Filter paper is fixed inside the funnel. The residue is the solid that remains on the filter paper, and finally, the liquid that passes through the filter paper is called the filtrate. Question 8c. Step 3 removes some of the water by heating the magnesium chloride solution. What is the name of this process? Now go back to step 3. The application of heat will cause evaporation or boiling. Therefore, the process in step 3 is called evaporation, though boiling is also acceptable. Question 8d. Aiko also reacts zinc oxide with dilute sulfuric acid. Zinc sulfate and water are made. Write the word equation for this reaction. If you take a good look at this question, both the reactants and the products of the reaction are already stated. All you have to do is write them out. So the reactants are zinc oxide and sulfuric acid, while the products are zinc sulfate and water. Now the question says write the word equation, so you write zinc oxide plus sulfuric acid, introduce an arrow pointing to the products, then write zinc sulfate and water, and you are good to go. Question 9. Jamila makes 5 sounds. She looks at the trace each sound makes on an oscilloscope. The traces are labeled A, B, C, D, and E. Look at trace A. Complete the sentences. Choose from B, C, D, or E. Question 9a. Which sound is louder than A? To answer this set of questions, trace A is given as a reference wave to which all the other traces are to be compared. So in sound wave, there is what is called amplitude, as indicated in trace A. Amplitude is the maximum distance moved by a point on a wave. The higher the amplitude, the greater the loudness of the sound. So the only trace with higher amplitude than trace A is trace B. So trace B will be the loudest. Question 9b. Which sound has a higher frequency than A? To answer this question, it will be good to know what frequency is all about and derive the frequency for each trace. So frequency of a wave refers to how often the particles of the medium vibrate when a wave passes through the medium. It is measured as the number of complete back and forth vibrations of a particle of the medium per unit of time. So back to trace A. The green line is one frequency and the blue line is also one frequency. So trace A has two frequencies. The frequency for trace B and trace C are also 2. Trace D is one frequency and trace E has 4 frequencies. So the sound with a higher frequency than A is trace E. Question 9c. Which two sounds have a different pitch to A? To answer this question, you should know that the pitch of a sound depends on the frequency. So the sounds with different pitch to trace A are the sounds with different frequencies. They are sound D and E, having 1 and 4 respectively. Question 10. Azan investigates the reaction between 0.5 gram of sodium carbonate and 20 cm³ of dilute hydrochloric acid. Azan measures the reaction time, the time it takes for the reaction to stop. He did 5 different experiments, uses a different concentration of acid in each experiment, keeps the temperature the same in each experiment. The results of the experiment are shown in the table. Question 10a. Plot Azan's results on the grid. Draw the curve of best fit through the points. You will be provided with a page with grid lines to answer questions like this. Now use the table of results to plot the graph. Mark points of concentration against the corresponding reaction time. 0.5 against 68, 1 against 40, 1.5 against 24, 2.0 against 14, and finally 2.5 against 10. The next thing is to draw a curve of best fit, not straight line. So you should have something similar to mine. Note, always use a well-sharpened pencil when plotting and drawing. Question 10b. Describe the trend shown by these results. From the table of results on the graph, we can observe that 1. The higher the concentration, the shorter the reaction time. 2. The higher the concentration, the faster the reaction. Question 11, which is the last question in sample paper 1. Oliver investigates conduction of thermal heat energy. He heats a metal rod. The metal rod has a pin attached with wax. Oliver measures the time it takes before the pin falls off the rod. The pin takes 45 seconds before it falls. 11a. Describe how Oliver makes his results more reliable. So Oliver can make his experimental results more reliable by repeating the experiment. The more you repeat, the more reliable the experimental result. Question 11b. Oliver does a risk assessment for his investigation. He considers the safety hazards. Describe 2 of the safety hazards in Oliver's investigation. So this question has to do with safety hazards, and these are risks to be avoided. These risks include 1. Risk of getting burned when the apparatus gets hot. 2. Risk of getting skin wound from the sharp pains. And 3. Risk of the wax catching fire. So these are safety hazards that needs to be avoided.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe and click the bell button for notifications. Thank you.